Good evening and welcome to the Scarborough School Board Business Meeting. The date is April 2nd, 2026. Can we have everyone join me with the Pledge of Allegiance, please? One day I'll get it right. One day. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Agenda item 1.3 is attendance. Ray, would you mind calling the attendance?
Yes. Ms. Jacobs,
She's been excused.
Mr. Kelleher,
Here.
Ms. Lindstrom,
Here.
Ms. Mauer,
Here.
Mr. Rockenstein,
Here.
Ms. Tarpinian,
Here.
Mr. Trapani Huff,
Here.
Ms. Roskina,
She's been excused, pardon me.
and Ms. Claret.
Here. All right, thank you so much. Agenda item 1.4 is the March 5th, 2026 and March 19th, 2026 business meeting minutes. If there are no objections, we will approve them as presented. All right, hearing none. Thank you. Agenda item 2.0 is resignations, retirements, and new hires. There's no board action for this. You can refer to the March 2026 resignation document that is in our materials. Agenda item 3.0 are adjustments to the agenda. I don't have any. Do you have any other adjustments this evening?
No.
All right. Agenda item 4.0 are presentations. 4.1 is a student spotlight award. So Sarah, we'll turn it over to you.
The Student Spotlight Award winner for April is Hugo Meisner. If Hugo and his teachers would like to come up and maybe say a few words.
Can I come over here to the microphone?
Hi, my name's Carrie Bracey. I am one of Hugo's teachers this year in 7th grade at the middle school. And we nominated Hugo for this award because of his outstanding leadership abilities, his character, his kind of steady integrity that he brings to our team. He's always willing to go above and beyond. He brings so much joy and happiness to our team, as well as an amazing amount of insight in learning.
And I think one thing that really stands out about Hugo is that he is this natural leader, but he's not a loud, in your face type of leader. It's a quiet leadership that he models doing the right thing, being self-directed and regulated all the time. And we're part of an integrated program at the middle school, and we do a lot of outdoors education, and the responsibility factor is huge. So Hugo, from day one, started demonstrating this leadership, and he has been just such a valuable leader to us. And he's just an all-around great kid.
Would you like to say something? You don't have to. No.
Thanks.
We're gonna take a picture first.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Oh. Very nice. Congratulations, Hugo. All right, agenda item 4.2 is a Scarborough High School Special Interest and Social Groups, social clubs, excuse me. So for this, we'll invite Mike LeGage and Nicole. Did I see Nicole?
All right, thank you for having us again. We'll get right started with everything, and we'll have the art club, and Mrs. Landry Fowler come up first.
Good evening, members of the school board. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Erin Landry Fowler, and I am one of the art teachers at Scarborough High School. as well as the chair of the Fine Arts Department. I also serve as the art club advisor, and I'm happy to share some highlights of our club, not only as a creative outlet, but as a space that supports students' sense of belonging and overall well-being within our school community. The Scarborough High School Art Club meets weekly on Fridays after school in my classroom and the adjacent computer lab, with an average of about 25 students at each meeting. During our meetings, we engage in a wide variety of art activities, typically alternating between planned group projects and open studio time. Students have designed buttons, experimented with embroidery, created marble paper, carved stamps, collaborated on murals, and tie-dyed t-shirts, among many other things. While activities are open to everyone, students are also welcome to work independently, giving them the freedom to explore their own creative interests. One of the annual highlights is the Art Club calendar fundraiser, and I brought one here today. So each year I compile a calendar featuring student artwork, and we sell this to friends and family members and teachers as well. Whoops. This year, we raised over $800 to support art club supplies and activities. Beyond fundraising, this project gives students a sense of pride and ownership as they see their work published and shared within the community. We have also had strong participation in the Scholastic Art Awards. 7 of our members earned Gold Key, Silver Key, and/or Honorable Mention distinctions this year. Their work was exhibited at the Maine College of Art this past month, where they were recognized at a statewide awards ceremony. Additionally, 2 students currently have work on display at the Maine Excellence in Art Education show at the State House in Augusta. The Art Club also collaborates with other SHS clubs, helping to build connections across our school community. This year, we partnered with the Civil Rights Club for their On Their Shoulders program, which featured visiting artist Titi de Baccarat. He shared both his artwork and his inspiring life story, invited our students to interact with him and transform his sculptures. Experiences like this expose students to new perspectives and show them how art can be a powerful tool for storytelling and social connection. While these activities and accomplishments are meaningful, what truly sets the Art Club apart is the sense of belonging it fosters. For many students, this is a space where they feel comfortable, supported, and valued. It provides opportunities to engage in the arts beyond the school day, connect with peers who share their interests, and build friendships that extend beyond the classroom. The Art Club is more than just a creative space. It is a joyful and supportive experience that helps students feel connected to their school and to one another. Thank you for your time and for your continued support of the arts at Scarborough High School.
And Mrs. LaJoy with the Buddy System.
Hi, I'm Michelle LaJoy. I am an occupational therapist here in the district, and I split my time between Blue Point School and the high school. So I have the 2 ends of the spectrum, educational spectrum. Here with me today is Thea Comstock. She is a 4-year Buddy System member and a 2-year member of our leadership board. And Ava Dolan, another 4-year member of Buddy System, new to our leadership team this year. And Ava's also taken an active role in some of our other unified programming, specifically volleyball, and is a volleyball coach, captain, excuse me, this year. The Buddy System, I'm going to put on my glasses, hang on. The Buddy System is dedicated to social inclusion of all students, regardless of learning, neurological, and/or physical differences. Unified programs like Buddy System bring students with and without difficulties or differences together for academics, sports, and social experiences, and promoting understanding, respect, and belonging. We have the leadership board that's made up of both special ed and general ed students. This team helps plan our monthly meetings, which are generally fun and social activities to support building of inclusive friendships. And during those meetings, we also plan school-based awareness activities. We have over 40 members. So I've had to get really creative with meeting spaces. We don't just fit in a classroom anymore. So that's been very exciting. We sent 12 students to the Youth Leadership Summit in November, which is the largest group we've sent. So very exciting. Students are very interested in joining the leadership opportunities that are being offered, both general ed and special ed students. Our students organized Fans in the Stands, which is our effort to get individuals, students and teachers and families to our unified sport opportunities. We have 3 in the district, or 3 seasons, as most of you may know. Just this past March, or this past month, we participated in the national Spread the Word campaign, and this year's campaign was You Belong. So our students made posters, put them around the school. The middle school and Wentworth also participated in this activity. Buddy System co-hosts a weekly lunch with Morrison Center, which is just down the road from here. So they have an opportunity to join us and have some experience with our high school students, both special ed and general ed. As a group, our students' participation in inclusive and unified activities outside of the high school has exploded recently. We have members who are Special Olympic partners. We have members who are Special Surfer partners. We have members who are adaptive ski partners. We have members who are participating in this Strive Rocks marathon coming up. For those of you who don't know, Strive is a community-based resource and program that provides programming for individuals with intellectual disabilities, young adults specifically. We currently have 4 students, 2 unified pairs, applying for Maine Special Olympics Youth Activation Committee. And if nominated, they're sitting for interviews in the next couple weeks. They will be representing us, Scarborough High, Scarborough as a community, at the state level. So taking their passion for inclusion and understanding and unified programming and impacting that at a state level. So that's really exciting. And this is a new opportunity that our students have decided to try to take on. So as an educator, when I stand here in front of you and I say this programming is, this unified programming, Buddy System, Unified Sports, is amazing and essential and changing the culture of not only our school, but also our larger community, because our students are taking these skills and applying them. And what is more gratifying as educators than seeing our student take something they learned with us and bring it to the bigger community. So thank you again for supporting that. We appreciate you.
Ms. Shoup with Civil Rights Club.
Good evening. Today, I'm proud to share the work of our Civil Rights Club and the meaningful impact it continues to have within our school and community. And I'm joined by Madam President Blair Hartley and member Liam Goebel-Shoup. We began the year in September by collaborating with Mrs. Crosby in Community Night at Wentworth School. Our students created this idea 2 years ago, and they have stepped up as leaders, helping families navigate important back-to-school tools like Power School and Family ID. What made this especially powerful was the presence of students from diverse linguistic and cultural backgrounds, ensuring that every family felt welcomed, supported, and understood. In October, we hosted our 8th annual voter registration drive in partnership with the Scarborough Town Clerk. Thanks to the dedication of our students, over 40 new voters were registered, an incredible example of civic engagement in action. Throughout the year, we've strengthened our connection with the K-5 literacy team through our Red Storm Reads initiative. Each month, students create videos highlighting books from our libraries and the Department of Education's Pine Project. They reflect the diversity of our school community across ethnicity, ability, gender, and identity. We've also shared full-length read-alouds, centering voices from historically excluded communities and ensuring that all students can see themselves represented in literature. From December through April, we've been able to build intergenerational connections by welcoming 4 inspiring community members through our On Their Shoulders program. The On Their Shoulders program is made possible by our Grants for Change grant that we received 2 years ago through Maine Initiatives. And the inspiration for On Their Shoulders in 2020, February, right before everything fell apart, at UNE, Dr. Angela Davis, who is a landmark civil rights activist, she was giving a presentation, and a member of the audience asked the question, how do you express why do you think intergenerational work is important when people tell us young ones that you stand on the shoulders of giants. So essentially respect us because we're your elders. And Dr. Davis said, well, I would say to them, if the youth stand on our shoulders, then they can see farther than we can. And so the students chose that phrase, on their shoulders, for this mentorship program. The mentors are all Maine-based, local to Maine. Professionals in their presentation topic, like that's how they make their living, and dedicated to building relationships and the skills and confidence of youth. These included multidisciplinary African artist Titi Baccarat, where we worked with the art club. That was a really exciting collaboration because he was also in residence for the week. And so it was really a neat confluence that was unplanned. It was an unintended benefit that the art hallway and the ESL hallway, the MLL hallway, is the same hallway. Because our students were just able to come in and talk to TT, who's from Ghana, and it was really moving. It was really an incredible situation. So really grateful to Aaron for that. Also, MECA professor and photographer Tabitha Blanchard, and we did that in conjunction with our photography teacher. Poet and scholar, Professor Ian Cara Elisante, who is a poetry professor and gender studies professor at Bates, and U.S. Attorney for the Department of Justice, Ali Young Green, though I will say, because she's an attorney, and this is important, she does not represent the Department of Justice or the White House administration. She is there in her capacity as a community member. So I just thought I'd point that out. Each brought unique perspectives on identity, creativity, and justice, helping our students better understand both themselves and the world around them. We also continue to host guest speakers who just for an hour at the club meeting will Zoom in, such as wildlife biologist Sue Ann Schupp, who is a member of the Society of American Foresters, who's going to help us explore the connection between environmental issues and social justice in collaboration with the Ecos Club. In addition, we partnered with Student Council to address everyday concerns within our school, working to improve bathroom conditions and expand access to menstrual products for all students in more locations. Monthly, our club shares information about the many communities represented in our school through posters and slide deck presentations, helping to build awareness and inclusion every day. For the 4th year, we are proud to continue our annual collaboration with poet Maya Williams, whose workshops have inspired award-winning student publications by our SHS poets, recognized by the Maine Writers and Publishers Alliance in 2025. Finally, we have put social justice into action by creating and distributing activity and craft bags for the siblings of our students who were scared to leave their homes during ICE's Operation Clean Sweep. We have since begun to expand this care by connecting with the K2 principals so that we can create a cache of these awesome craft bags for all of our young lightning bolts. I'm not sure what we call our little red stormers. So lightning bolts. Okay. Together, these efforts reflect the mission of the Civil Rights Club to educate, to advocate, and to build a more inclusive and compassionate community. Thank you.
Okay, Ecos Club is, the advisors are Mrs. Vasnick and Miss Brown. They couldn't be here tonight, but they left me something to share with you about their club. The Environmental Club of Scarborough High School, or Ecos, at the high school was founded by students in 2004, introducing recycling before it became standard practice. Now, with 80 members, the club meets weekly, engaging 20 to 30 students in recycling efforts throughout the school and maintaining the high school courtyard garden. Meetings also connect students to additional projects, including partnerships with Sustainable Scarborough, Scarborough Land Trust, and the Maine Audubon, as well as ECOS-led educational outreach and advocacy initiatives. ECOS is guided by a student-elected board that meets bi-weekly and works closely with advisors to coordinate projects, meetings, and committee efforts. Auxiliary members are invited to join as needed, supporting leadership development and broadening student involvement. Members contribute to the school and community by volunteering at the annual Senior Citizen Dinner and delivering sustainability education programs to Wentworth students. They also promote responsible recycling practices within the high school, helping to build a culture of environmental stewardship. Fundraising through clink bottle deposits have supported initiatives such as the hand dryers at the high school, water refill stations, and courtyard garden donations to environmental organizations, custodian recognition, and student awards and club activities. ECOS has consistently led sustainability efforts at the high school. Early initiatives, including promoting plastic bag reuse before widespread adoption of reusable bags, were in place. The club introduced cafeteria composting through Garbage to Gardens in 2018 and again in 2024, raising awareness about composting while gaining insight into the challenges of large-scale implementation. Collaboration with facilities and maintenance and school administration was essential, and although the program proved unsustainable at scale, it successfully increased awareness and participation at home. In 2006, ECOS partnered with Key Club to transform the courtyard into an organic garden with support from staff, students, and local donors. In 2018, the space expanded to include permaculture practices, raised beds, and fruit trees. The garden continues to be maintained and support from other clubs and facilities and maintenance department. This year, students are collaborating with volunteers from Piper Shores, gaining mentorship in garden care, native and invasive species management, and participating in learning opportunities with the Wild Seed Project. ECOS members have also engaged in statewide environmental leadership opportunities, including attending the Climate and Me Youth Leadership Summit in April of 2025. The club was invited to additional events in 2025 and hopes to expand participation in the future. ECO strives to continues to thrive through student leadership, active membership, and dedicated advising that supports peer mentoring and leadership development. The club is grateful for the continued support of the Board of Education, Ms. Legage and Nicole Marceau for their support of ECOS. And the ECOS board members are President Dylan Jenkins, Vice President Eleonora DeFries, Secretary Avery Bastian, Communications Coordinator Ella Herzberg, Treasurer Olivia O. Auxiliary members are Hannah Colbreth and Lucy Johnson. So they want to share that. Sources of strength. Miss Annabelle had prepared to be here and really at the last minute had a personal issue she had to attend to. And so she asked me to share this with you. The Sources of Strength, or SOS, is a nationwide student-led program focused on suicide prevention and mental health promotion. It is a strength-based, evidence-informed model designed for students from elementary through high school. Sources of Strength has been shown to reduce suicide rates in high schools by up to 29% by taking an upstream approach, building protective factors, strengthening connections, and encouraging help-seeking behaviors before crises occur. At its core, SOS empowers students as leaders. Peer leaders guide the program by developing campaigns, recruiting members, and shaping messaging, while advisors provide support and structure. This peer-to-peer model fosters a culture of trust, resilience, and hope, and strengthens connections between students and trusted adults. Our group meets weekly to provide a safe, supportive space and to build practical mental health skills. We typically implement one major campaign per quarter, along with smaller weekly efforts. Campaigns may include school-wide displays, interactive activities, and community initiatives such as cookie drives, coin drives, and student-led awareness events. Many of our campaigns are highly interactive. For example, in our Let Your Stress Fall Away campaign, students created a visual display where peer leaders shared coping strategies on green leaves, while the broader student body contributed by writing their stressors on red, orange, and yellow leaves, symbolizing stress being released. We also use bulletin boards and interactive displays throughout the school to encourage ongoing student engagement and reflection. And I believe we have illustrations of those things in your board packet or available pictures that you had a chance to look at. SOS is supported through the National Alliance on Mental Illness, which provides annual training and resources for both staff and students. The program emphasizes the importance of gatekeepers, individuals trained to recognize warning signs and connect peers to appropriate support. Since 2009, SOS has been recognized on national best practices registries for suicide prevention. Our local chapter has also been recognized with a $1,000 grant from the Wade Millett Memorial Foundation for its work in mental health awareness and suicide prevention. Students have multiple leadership opportunities within SOS, including roles such as president, social media coordinator, design lead, and project manager. These positions are filled through an application process each year, encouraging student ownership and leadership development. Moving forward, our goal is to expand participation among both students, staff, and increasing involvement will allow us to broaden our impact and continue building a stronger, more connected, and more resilient school community. The club is grateful for the continued support of the Board of Education, Ms. Legage, Principal Terrio for their ongoing support. And that is Source of Strength, and I believe that's it for all of our groups this evening. So I think you heard a lot about some really important kind of education-based activities that these clubs are particularly engaged in. And so it's exciting to hear that. I will just, if you'll indulge me 1 minute, I will just say about our buddy system program that Mrs. LaJoy has done a tremendous job in expanding that program. I was certainly here when it started, and it started on a very small scale, started by one of our students at the high school, and she's just done a tremendous job expanding that program, connecting it to our unified sports programs and expanding it into all the things that you heard her speak about too. So certainly want to, highlight that work because it's really a full-time job that she's doing there. So I wanted to make sure I highlighted that, but all of our groups are just doing tremendous work, as you've heard. So thank you for having us again. And questions or before we let the...
Are there any questions or comments? Thank you for adding this in, Mike. This has been really, we've been saying to the other groups as they come in, this is our first year doing this where we've expanded beyond academics and athletics. And it's been a really, awesome opportunity, I think, for all of us to really get to know, all of our programs that are happening at the school, at the high school, and all the opportunities for our students to be involved. So thank you for coming and thank you for sharing what you're doing. And thank you for participating. These are really awesome leadership opportunities that you get in front of you. So, and really awesome opportunities to learn from those around you. So thank you to our staff and thank you to our students for participating as well. And thank you for coming tonight. Some of you might want to stay for just a couple of minutes. There's an update. We're going to do a superintendent update and then I'm going to do a chair update and it might have some information that you would be interested in hearing. Or not, I mean, I think so. Thanks, Jane. Thanks, bud.
You're kidding.
Thank you.
I guess our work was not as interesting as I had expected. That's okay. We'll have to tell Kate it's not just her. All right, agenda item 5.0 is the superintendent's report, so we'll turn this over to Diane.
Yes, good evening. Happy to share my superintendent's report as always, each month, starting with our enrollment numbers. I'm not going to read that slide to you, but you can take a look at that at your leisure and you'll notice that our enrollment continues to be pretty consistent. Next slide, please. As I like to do, I always love to showcase big things that are happening in the district. And I have two really unique things to share with you this evening. The first is congratulations to the high school ACE team. That stands for Architecture, Construction, and Engineering. And they were selected as one of 9 finalist teams selected to compete for the national title in Washington, D.C. on April 27th. This is a group of 5 students who have been working with mentors from the industry to address critical issues around energy efficiency, data storage demand, and environmental impact. And their project focuses on the Katahdin peak systems. And so you can see in that visual that probably is a little bit hard for you to read from where we are, but that is basically their poster in terms of what they had presented. And so we're really excited. This is the first time ever that a group like this has been at Scarborough, and for us to be selected as one of 9 teams across the country is a pretty remarkable endeavor. So congratulations to them. Also wanted to give a great shout out to one of our VEX robotics teams, team 344E, who has qualified for the World VEX Robotics Championships. And that is going to take place in St. Louis, Missouri over April break. So really great to celebrate our students. And as you see on a regular basis here, it's just amazing to be able to highlight this wide array of opportunities for our students. And so that is definitely something for us to celebrate. Moving on to the next slide, just wanted to provide you a little bit of update on student registration. I know that there is a lot of excitement in our community about the expansion of public pre-K. As you know, we have expanded our public pre-K for the coming year to 80 slots, 80 students. And as a reminder to the public, this is a zero cost initiative. In fact, this is a value added initiative because the subsidy that we'll receive for these students goes far beyond the cost of the program. In fact, it is to the plus of about $500,000 above and beyond the cost of the program. So we're super excited about that. We're very excited about the level of interest that's been generated from the community. Screening is getting organized right now. We're going to be working with Shooting Stars on screening, and families will be receiving an email tomorrow, actually, about how to select a screening appointment and get that process started. So that is super exciting. And then to just provide you an update around kindergarten registration, we currently have 182 students registered for kindergarten so far. That is pretty on par with where we tend to be at this time of year. But each of our schools will be setting up their screening appointments. It's hard to think that we are really gearing up for the next school year, but we're in April, and so it is time for us to be doing that.
All right, thank you, Diane. Any questions for Diane? All right, agenda item 6.0 is the chair's report. I do have a few things to review tonight. First off, we have two vacant seats on our board that are coming up in June, and we did have two people take out papers and return papers. So we have two candidates for two seats at the June referendum. The upcoming workshops we have April 30th is going to be one on understanding educational technology. Just for the public's knowledge, this is really a kickoff for us as a board to understand our district's use of educational technology, what that even means, and really kind of think through how we want to shape the vision of educational technology for Scarborough. At the same time as this, May 21st is our retirees celebration. At the same time that we're working on this April 30th workshop, we're also, if you could go to the next slide, we've been working on something that we had talked about with the cell phone policy, and that is a parent forum where we invite community members, the parents, to really come in for an informal, relaxed, judgment-free conversation around how we navigate technology at home. So the reason I'm kind of tapping these together is that as we talk to a couple of members that are of the panel for this forum, I did share with one of them, his name is Matt Pines. He's very involved in research as it relates to educational technology, cell phones, and their impact on students. Ray and I met with him, and as I talked to him, I shared with him that we did have some community members that had shared some resources with us from other districts that were used when the cell phone policy discussion was happening. And the resource was essentially a one-pager with references that the board could then read ahead of time and kind of get themselves grounded in what this means and what the explaining why cell phone policies and bans are in place and what it means and why. And at any rate, I found the resource to be pretty helpful, just I would imagine for a board that's trying to understand an issue. And educational technology is one that is newer in term and in idea. And so I did ask him if he would be willing to help us create also a one-pager ahead of this upcoming April workshop. And he was willing to help us. I did tell him that from my perspective, I thought it would be best if it was a balanced reference sheet. So if there is, in other words, if there was research that showed the pros of educational technology, that we would be interested in hearing both sides. So a balanced overview. So I'm working on that with him, and hopefully we'll have that in advance of our workshop so that people can kind of read and kind of ground themselves in the idea of what educational technology is. So the workshop for our board meeting is April 30th, and that is a date change. So I just want to make the community aware of that. That is a change from the third Thursday of April. May 6th is our parent forum, and this is going to be the relaxed conversation with a panel of experts to talk about how we navigate technology at home and what that means and what that looks like. One of the challenges for those that were on the board at the time, you'll remember, one of the challenges we heard quite frequently when we were working on our policy is that parents felt almost helpless, for lack of a better term. We heard from a lot of parents that just didn't know how to navigate it, what to do, and they felt a little bit out of control with it. And so we really had committed at that time to doing something to help our parents that needed it. And so that's what this parent forum is. So both of those are coming. In relation to technology, the statewide bell-to-bell cell phone ban that has been, that was a part of Governor Mills's supplemental budget, did pass the Appropriations Committee. And so it does, it is moving forward to the legislature where it appears that it will pass there as well. There's no, from what I understand, there's no reason to suspect that it will not pass. So I say this now, what will happen is if passed, every district in Maine will have 90 days to comply. That's it. With the law, the new law. So it's going to come quick and it's going to come fast. Unfortunately, the funding for that was reduced. So there is $350,000 now available to come up with a solution. It roughly equates to $3 and some change per middle school and high school students. So we talked about this a little bit at our, and very briefly at our budget workshops. I had talked to Diane about, is there money in the budget included for this? And at the time there wasn't. But now where it's at now, it's probably something we're going to have to really consider. This is going to be, in my mind, a really, really big initiative. It's going to require a lot of parental education, a lot of student education, staff education, and all of this is happening while our staff and our students and our families are on summer break. So it's, the requirement will be for next year. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot and it's going to come really fast. So the more we can get on top of informing our parents, I think the better. Really looking at maybe the communications committee, like maybe thinking about this and what this means and how to get the word out, because I would hate for anybody to be surprised by this when it comes in at the start of the school year. And I think right now that this could be a surprise for many. So any questions on the ban part or the forum or anything for me? Yeah.
I just had a question about the April 30th workshop. Is Diane, is there just someone on the staff who's going to be leading it from the district side?
Yeah, it's kind of going to be a group effort
Okay.
From several members of our team.
Okay. And are we going to get a little bit of sort of an intro piece? I know that I will try my best to read, but given everything that's coming up, I don't know how much time all of us have to prepare. It would be nice to have some sort of like a leveling, little bit of an intro on what is educational technology.
Yeah, I think that's, our goal is for the workshop to provide that to you, right? So what is the intentional use of technology here in Scarborough Public Schools? We're going to be collecting some data from our staff to help us better understand, firsthand from our educators about the ways in which they use technology and the regularity at which they do that. And so we really want to make sure that we're starting that workshop with some foundation setting and building some understanding. We also have received some questions from the board that we know that you all have. And so we're crafting our presentation around those two pieces.
Yeah. Yeah, and just to add on to that, I generally open our workshops with an overview, and so I have no problem doing that just like I would normally, and I can kind of set the ground for sure, set the table, and then I can turn it over. I think that's absolutely, yeah. Any other thoughts or questions on the statewide ban?
I agree. I agree that we need to communicate soon and widely to our parents. I mean, and they won't be the only ones who will be shocked because it's going to happen, statewide.
Yeah.
And then given the lack of limited resources, I think our challenge will be what, you know, what kind of infrastructure we're gonna be able to put in place to actually secure the personal devices, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's definitely the challenge, especially with the decrease in funding. So, yeah, go ahead, Sarah.
I just wanted to say that if the ban passes, I do think we have to communicate very well to the students. Like, I think going directly to them, like a presentation or something, would probably be the best. Because I feel like a lot of students, like with the policy last year, were kind of annoyed that they felt like excluded from the process. Like, I
Mhm.
think we have to be very direct, or else it's going to like blow back on us. I don't know, like
Yeah.
come back
Yeah.
for us.
I do, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a challenge and it is going to be new, right? For the kids, for everyone, for all of us, right? I think parents are going to have to adapt, teachers, students, and we certainly want them to feel informed. And I know that's, maybe when we get to the student reports, it'd be good for you to share like your project. I haven't done that yet. Cause I think that, I don't want to give away the farm, right? And tell all your good stuff, but I think you've kind of tapped into that, right? That knowledge that students are feeling a little bit excluded from the process. And so I really appreciate that you're doing your part too. And we can certainly figure out something to do too, to help as well. Absolutely. That's a good advice. All right, any other questions or thoughts on that? Okay, I have one more piece. Yesterday at the town council meeting, it was the first reading of the budget. The long and the short of it is that the first reading came in at 5.99%. I think it's fair to say that the entire council was disappointed in what they saw. As you know, there was a goal, a council goal. We've discussed it here, that there was a council goal to keep the budget at a 0% increase this year. It was my understanding from my initial conversations that that was an aspirational goal, but I think the disappointment, from what I could understand yesterday, the disappointment is that they really expected a much lower budget at first read. And they understand that getting us close to that 0% is likely going to come at the expense of people. They understand that there might be a drop in services that happens because, in an attempt to get down. And that really the overarching message was that there's going to be really tough choices that have to be made on both the school side and the town side. I think the takeaway for me is that there was talk about trying to get down to 2 or 2.5%, but really getting down is low. There is some that said they were really firm on the 0. And so I think that there's going to be a lot of work in front of both finance bodies. I think there's going to be a lot of work in front of both leadership teams. This is not going to be an easy lift by any means. But I think that it's important to know where we're going and what's in front of us so that everybody has a really firm understanding of what the expectations are going forward. And the expectations, from what I heard yesterday, are get back at it and find some places to make those tough decisions. Any questions for me on that?
I just want to follow up with a comment. I mean, basically they're saying, if you don't make, you didn't help us, so we're going to make these cuts and, we want to do it collaboratively.
Yeah.
So I know it's going to go back to our finance committee and our leadership team, but I'm assuming the board will then sort of collaborate on how to at least, bring it down.
Yeah, and it'll come back to us. We'll still have another look at it at second reading as well. But yes, it'll go back to the finance committee for more work. That'll include, of course, Diane and Kate and the team, and they'll do their part. The town council, the way that this budget cycle works is that we actually get started before they do. So we've already had our workshops with the leadership team, they haven't had theirs yet. So they're a step behind or a couple steps behind us. So they will start that process next where they'll hear from the leadership team and really start prioritizing the work and what their priorities are, what services are their priorities. They have to go through all of that work as well, where we've already done that. So for us, the next step is that finance committee will take it. For them, they're still doing those workshops and those meetings. Yeah. Any other questions about the budget or first reading? All right. All right, agenda item 7.0 are committee reports. 7.1 is the community outreach communications report. Can you
Yeah, I'll take
do
it.
this for me? Thank you.
Okay, so the Senior Citizen Appreciation Dinner and Celebration is coming up this next Tuesday, April 7th. And we are honored to celebrate our community members and showcase incredible learning that happens in our district schools. We're pleased to be able to showcase the Jim Dandies. The Scarborough Middle School theater team will also be there to perform some songs for their upcoming show, Annie Jr. And the robotics club will be there along with multiple other volunteers. We'll have the Model UN. And then the Interact Club will also be there. And I'm forgetting, there's several groups that are there to support us. It's really cool. So many kids come out. And then we have some of our kids will be there. And it's a really, really fun event. So we're really looking forward to that. She says a big shout out to the nutrition department for their incredible support in preparing the delicious meals. And Scarborough Community Services for the registration support. This is like a big, lots of people here to support this. So we're really lucky. Our last meeting was March 9th and our next meeting is next Monday at 5 p.m.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Jillian? All right, you want to carry on with curriculum?
Sure thing. Our last meeting was March 12th. We did get an update on the math curriculum group at that time. They had developed a rubric for evaluating each of the programs and they were down to 2 options, but there have been more developments since then, and we will be hearing about that on Monday at 5:30 p.m. Also, the CNA survey went out to solicit volunteers for that group. That went out a couple weeks ago now. She has gotten the responses back and we'll be meeting with John, who is the liaison for that group, to put together a team, and we will hear more about that next meeting as well as a date for when that will be taking place. And that is it.
Thank you. Any questions for Jillian again? All right, next 7.3 is finance.
You already stole a bunch of words, but as for finance, we just had our last meeting earlier this week. We had some pretty good news in terms of kind of prices with our heating oil and everything, in terms of taking a look at everything going on out there. We are locked in at a price of $2.80, which is about $2 lower than the current average around the state. And then another thing of good news is Anthem and our insurance rates at most will be 11%. So that was some nice news to hear. Town budget is going to have its workshops, which will have a presentation around noon, I believe, on the 13th. And then the town will continue with its workshops on after that. Our next meeting is the 28th at 5:30, and we got some work to do. Any questions?
Awesome, thank you. Any questions for Mitchell? All right, 7.4 is negotiations. Freela?
We're meeting regularly on our educational support professionals contract. Those negotiations are ongoing. Obviously, our goal as always is to wrap up by the end of the school year in June. We'll see if we are able to fulfill that. Moving to policy, we had our last meeting today. We reviewed policy DJH and DN. I know you love the procurement and purchasing policies. So we're going to have some first readings next meeting. And then we also actually worked through a bunch of the B meetings, which has to do with board governance. And so look forward to a few of those coming up, as well as KE, which is public concerns and complaints. We're looking at the social media policy. We're kind of waiting because there's supposed to be a model policy coming out shortly. So we're hopeful to bring that forward quickly. And then we can continue to go to the policies in reverse chronological order. Our next meeting is the first Thursday of the month, which coincides with our board meeting on May 7th at 5 to 6:30, in person or hybrid at the school board conference room.
Thank you. Any questions for Freyla? All right, agenda item 7.6 is the post-referendum building committee. There's nothing to report because we haven't met yet. So we are meeting next Tuesday, April 7th, at 6 o'clock. And that is going to be at the, middle school. Thank you. I had a moment of forgetfulness. It'll be at the middle school for anybody who would like to join.
And there will be a tour available for people at
Oh, yeah.
5:30.
Yes, if anybody is interested in taking a tour of the middle school, if you haven't seen it lately, or if you're curious about what is going to happen there and what it'll look like, this will be a good opportunity for you. So 5:30 to 6, they will tour the middle school, and then the meeting will start at 6 o'clock. All right, agenda item 8.0 are liaison reports. Are there any liaison reports to give today? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item 9.0 is the student representative reports. So we are going to skip to 9.2, which is Sarah.
Abby unfortunately couldn't be here today, but I was gonna read this. Diane kind of stole my thunder.
I will say that I checked the slide deck before I did my slides this afternoon to make sure I was in the clear. So I guess we all should do that.
Yeah, so the ACE Mentor program of Scarborough had a team of 5 students compete in the national CERT competition, which challenges teams to design innovative, sustainable solutions for real-world construction projects. So our Scarborough team designed a net zero data center based in Millinocket, Maine. And out of 85 teams, they were selected as one of the top 9 teams in the country, and they'll be flown to Washington, D.C., where they will present their project to a panel of nationally recognized leaders and experts in the ACE industries. And then for the Wentworth and primary schools, last Tuesday, primary and Wentworth school students all got the chance to participate in the All-Town Chorus concert. I didn't attend, but I heard it was a magical night and a great way to wrap up the Wentworth Music in Our Schools month. Also, Pleasant Hill received 1,350 packets of seeds from Pine Tree Garden Seeds. So they're hosting a seed fundraiser. Pleasant Hill invites all families to stop by, grab some, and donate some money to support their garden programming.
Oh, very cool. All right. Do you want to also talk about your project?
Sure. So my project for my ELO is I'm trying to increase student awareness of the happenings of the board, specifically the policy committee, but kind of so in general. So what I've been doing is I've been putting write-ups in the monthly newsletter, the high school newsletter, kind of explaining, last month I did the social media policy, which is going to be upcoming, kind of what it would mean for students. And then for tomorrow, I did one that mentions the forum and workshop that are upcoming about technology, and also the cell phone ban, which is in the works. So yeah, so kind of trying to increase awareness. And also there's a way for people who read it to provide feedback, which is kind of another way of public opinion.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, it's very, very cool. Thank you very much. All right, any questions for Sarah? All right. Thank you, Sarah. Agenda item 10.0 is general public comment. Is there anyone wishing to make general public comment this evening? All right. I'll say so each person is limited to 3 minutes to speak, so the little lights will guide you. The green is good, yellow means you're getting close to, and red is your 3 minutes is up. All right, so if you could just mind introducing yourself first, and then I'll start your timer. Go ahead.
Good evening, members of the Scarborough School Board. My name is Sarah Kappelman, and I work for the district at Scarborough High School as an English language arts teacher. I also serve as the secretary for the Scarborough Education Association. I'm here today to represent and speak on behalf of my colleagues who are struggling without enough support for their students who are presenting major behavioral issues. These issues affect not only my colleagues, but also the other students, taking away from their education. When asked to share phrases that come to mind when they think of their experiences with special ed students, program, work expectations, etc., over the past few years, this is what my colleagues at the high school and middle school shared with me. It's overwhelming. There's too much paperwork, and we are underpaid, disorganized, unstructured, and stretched thin. There has been a huge influx of very needy students. The students are great, but my budget was canceled last year, and my room is understaffed. A different staff member said that new staff need more support, which is echoed by another person who worries about insufficient support staffing. Yet another staff member said, needs are going up, but the supplies aren't being given. Here's some other concerns shared by more staff members we talked to. I feel like I'm not being heard by central office. I'm told, don't worry about that, and that student isn't a one-to-one. FLS, or functional life skills, generally don't have a lunch break. Yet another staff member described their day as hectic, never-ending, behavior uptick, concerned with how to manage individual needs because they have more to do with less time. They note that Gen Ed, general education, is often unable to handle or know what to do with behaviors, and without adequate staffing, the staff member feels thankless and questions, are we making a difference? More staff members worry about not having enough time or support from home, increasing behavior issues, student pushback, lots of meetings, and chasing kids down to complete work, low student motivation. Some final words and phrases that staff shared with the SEA were insufficient, needy, trial and error, frazzled, squeezed for time, and understaffed. The association and our members, including these colleagues, believe that all children can be successful in the right environment with the correct supports and by utilizing appropriate programming. We are doing a disservice to our staff, our special education students, and our mainstream students by ignoring these issues and failing to address these very real problems. We ask that the board encourage the district to look into better programming, and we ask the board to vote to fund these investigations and program changes for the good of all students, special ed and general ed, as well as our dedicated staff members. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Garrett White.
Ready?
Sure am. First, thank you, members of the Scarborough School Board, for hearing me and for being here today. My name is Garrett White. I serve the district as the Scarborough Middle School as one of our art teachers, and also I serve the Scarborough Education Association as our vice president for faculty. I too am here today to share some of the experiences that some of our other colleagues have shared with us, some issues that are affecting their work, their students that they support, and the sort of general well-being of the whole school community. Our association asked members at the middle school and high school to share their experiences, so I've got two questions that I'm going to provide some of their feedback from. The first was, what is your current or typical emotional state when it comes to special education or high needs students? People reported feeling exhausted, tapped out, done, sad, and frustrated. We also hear other things. The middle school functional life skills room that says it is usually joyful in there, which you love to hear. They say, things are okay thanks to our colleagues, but tired and confused and very happy that I'm close to retirement. People feel unsupported, unheard, frustrated, overloaded, tired, underappreciated, and depleted, with more added to their work, but no benefit added from that work. They feel hopeful for a good day. They feel exhausted when behaviors occur and frustrated or hopeless when the social and emotional learning that we're trying to teach aren't learned, and then high needs continue. People feel Others responded they feel encouraged and hopeful. Still more say, I usually feel happy and positive when I'm with my kids, but there are times when I am drained of patience, not only from the kids I work with daily, but from general ed kids as well. People respond, they're happy overall, but they see areas that seem not to improve, and it's frustrating. Another said, I'm in need of a nap, sometimes mild dread when it comes to a particularly unpredictable or difficult class. The second question that I respond to here is, do you have any physical symptoms related to special education programming, students, etc.? And people responded that they've been scratched, hit, spit on, emotionally abused with back and neck pain. Another responded with back strain, causing a lost day of work. Another says they feel tired, a lack of energy for all the rest of their life. They say they feel exhausted with headaches, tension, back pain, knee pain. They feel sleeplessness at times. And we also have some who say nothing, none at this time. So certainly not a totally bleak future, but we're here to advocate for our people. To be clear, our association and our members absolutely believe that all children can be successful in school and in life, but they need support, adequate, appropriate supports, programs, environment, and staffing. And we're hoping that the school board, that you will work with us and work with them to make that happen for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dylan White.
Hi.
Hi. Good evening. My name is Dylan White, and I have been an employee with Scarborough School Department for 24 years. Throughout this time, I have worked in the special ed department in numerous capacities. The majority of my years in this district have been working with students with significant behavioral issues, either a one-on-one ed tech or as a classroom teacher. I would like to share an experience that I had as a self-contained special ed teacher that made me want to leave teaching in this specific area. I apologize in advance if I get emotional. This was and still continues to be a very traumatic experience. To give you background on the student involved in this event, they were as tall as me and twice as big as an average fifth grader. The student had a one-on-one at all times of the day due to significant behavioral needs. The student would elope. The student was aggressive towards staff, peers. The student was in a classroom all day with only support staff and no other peers. The student had a specific lunch plan and a specific recess plan. I had just finished an activity in my class, and this student became upset and angry as they did not like the results of the activity. The student became verbally aggressive at me and was demanding that they get another try. As I was attempting to transition the class to a new activity, the student became dysregulated and started to come at me. I called for backup. I began to use my safety care training techniques. I tried to de-escalate the situation. The student began to destroy the classroom by clearing desks, going after laptops, ripping off things of the wall, and throwing books. At this point, I had all the other students leave the room with other staff, and I began implementing the student's behavior plan and attempting to get the student to the break room safely. At this point, there were 5 trained adults, the student, and myself in the room. The student became increasingly aggressive and lunged at me. Fearing for my safety, I left the classroom and was going to go to the office across the hall. The student chased me and was trying to get into the office by pulling on the door handle. The office locked from the outside, so I was unable to lock it from the inside. I was instructing the staff to lock the door so the student could not attack me. As I was pulling back on the handle to have the staff lock me in, the student slammed the door on my foot. This resulted in me going to the doctor and finding I had a non-displaced fracture of the cuboid bone, or in layman's terms, a broken foot. I was required to wear a boot for 6 weeks with physical restrictions. It is incidents like this that propelled me to make the transfer to my current position at the middle school. I have noticed a significant increase in students' dangerous behaviors in the past several years. As a result, employees are being injured at an alarming rate. Staff are not adequately trained to handle the significant challenges that today's students are bringing to school. I thank you for allowing me this time to speak to you this evening. I hope that teachers, administrators, and the school board can all work together to help keep educators and students safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, David Pay. Okay. Members of the Scarborough School Board, my name is David Pay and I work for the district at Scarborough High School as a social studies teacher. I also serve as a high school building representative and the grievance chair for the Scarborough Education Association. I am here, like the others who spoke prior to me, to speak on behalf of our colleagues who are struggling without enough support for their students. And as we have noted earlier, this affects both not only our colleagues, but also the other students and takes away from their ability to have the best education possible. As our colleagues have been asking us to tell their stories or telling them directly to you, they've also been telling us about what they think could be done to make their environment more supportive and more positive. And that in turn would be not only a benefit for our colleagues, but for also the students for which they care about and support. So some of the ideas that the members have presented to us include the following: a dedicated special education instructional coach, a liaison between the different special education consulting teachers, a more overall positive environment with support and visibility from leadership and administration, more timely responses to email from staff, and more inclusion of staff suggestions and decision-making, working with local colleges for internship possibilities in special education, a more competitive wage structure relative to surrounding districts to not only attract skilled applicants, but to also fill all needed special ed positions, including one-on-ones, clear and productive plans to address current and potential staffing issues, particularly when related to IEPs, and more training for new ed techs and prep time for current ed techs for lesson planning to help retain many of our great staff members. As we've stated before, we believe that in a more collaborative and positive environment, we can create a system where all our kids can be successful, and that addressing these problems in a collaborative and proactive manner will benefit everyone. And so we ask the board to take these suggestions into account going forward for the good of all of our students and our staff members. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone online?
There's one person online.
Is there anyone online wishing to make public comment this evening? If so, you can raise your Zoom hand. All right, seeing none, we will close general public comment. Agenda item 11.0 is continuing business. 11.1 is the second reading of policy KEB, complaints against school personnel. Rayla, turn that to you.
So this is the same policy that you saw at first reading. We didn't receive any feedback on it, like my microphone. And I'm trying to open it, which I can't do. So it takes us through a step-by-step procedure to address complaints at the lowest level possible. And yeah, I could try to memorize it, but I didn't memorize it. It has a step-by-step instructions in order to, I did not memorize it.
Sorry.
Step-by-step instructions for how to address it. Again, we try to address problems at the lowest level with the individuals involved, and then escalate from there if needed. Ultimately, the complaints against the superintendent obviously have a slightly different process. And then these would not impact any of the employee concerns or complaints that happens with their individual contracts. Happy to answer any questions, but again, this is the exact same policy that you saw before, and we had no comment or feedback on it.
All right, are there any questions for Freyla?
Just a question, this covers complaints by either students, parents, it's not between colleagues, it's.
Yes.
Okay.
There are some specific complaint procedures. So this is a general complaint procedure if there's not a more specific one involved. So the harassment policy, it would not cover that. And there's also a complaint process through for human resources purposes. It doesn't impact any of that. This would be sort of if a general complaint came, this would be the procedure again, unless there's a more specific one. And I think we call out to those other procedures in this so that we can point people in the right direction to make sure they're in the right spot. So they don't think it's this and it turns out it's that. Because, for example, the sexual harassment policy is extremely specific and has a lot of statutory deadlines in it. And so we wouldn't want them to think that this would be the proper process because it's very different and much more involved.
Thank you.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the second reading of policy KEB, complaints against school personnel as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Is there anybody wishing to make public comment? Right, all in favor? All right, that shows unanimous. Thank you so much. Agenda item 12.0 is new business. 12.1 is the middle school spring coaches appointment.
Yes, so you'll see in your packet, the listing of, spring coaches for Scarborough Middle School, and I would respectfully ask you to approve it.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the middle school spring coaches appointment as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor? That shows unanimous. Thank you so much. Agenda item 12.2 is Hannaford Helps School Donation Acceptance for Pleasant Hill.
Yes, I'll read this memo to you from Mr. Grogan, our Assistant Superintendent.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Pleasant Hill School is in receipt of a check from the Hannaford Help School Program in the amount of $693. The donations represent funds raised by parents in the community for Pleasant Hill School during the 2025 Hannaford Help Schools program. They are seeking to deposit the checks into the general activity account for future use, and you'll see a copy of the check attached. And you can certainly contact Ray right here if you have any questions.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the Hannaford Helps School donation as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? And that shows unanimous. Thank you so much. Agenda item 12.3 is the Horace Mann Insurance donation acceptance.
Yes, so you'll see in your packet a memo from Kate Bolton, our Director of Business and Finance, and I will read it to you. It is brief. Horace Mann Insurance Company donated 30 $20 gift cards to be used as prizes for workshop sessions during our March 20th Staff Development Day. These prizes allowed every session during the day to have a winner, a prize given at the end of the session, the winner of which was selected randomly. A huge thank you to Horace Mann for this very generous donation. And we respectfully request that the school board approve acceptance of the donation for our staff with many thanks.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the Horace Mann Insurance donation as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? And that shows unanimous. Thank you so much. Agenda item 13.0 is adjournment. So with no objections, we will adjourn at 8:19 p.m. this evening. Thank you so much and have a good night.